Blue 9 is Alex Pietrangelo, June 12th, 2019. That's the night St. Louis finally stopped being the team that almost had a history. There are games where the cup is won, and there are games where a franchise gets rewritten. This is the second kind. Game 7, Stanley Cup Final, Blues, Bruins, TD Garden in Boston. Winner gets the trophy, loser gets the worst plane ride of their life. For St. Louis, this wasn't just one more big hockey game. The Blues have been around since 1967's expansion. They've been to the final three straight times at the very beginning, and they've been stomped out every time. The image most people had of the Blues in the final was Bobby Orr flying through the air in 1970. Cool photo. Terrible memory if you have to wear the blue note. Boston had home ice, history, and the Game 6 punch. The Bruins had gone to St. Louis and smashed the party, 5-1. With the cup in the building and half the city already halfway through celebration beer. Now they're back in Boston with Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, Tuukka Rask, and a crowd that could smell blood. St. Louis, they had the weirdest resume imaginable. Bad start, coach fired in November, last place in the league in January. Then Jordan Binnington arrived like somebody opened the wrong door in the minors and accidentally found the main character. Craig Berube steadied the bench. Ryan O'Reilly became the engine. Alex Pietrangelo became the adult in the room. Pietrangelo was born January 18th, 1990 in Ontario. The Blues took him 4th overall in 2008. Not as a developmental pick. It's more like, please become our number one defenseman or something. That's dumb. He wasn't a thunderclap player, not at first. He was more like infrastructure. You noticed him most when he wasn't there because suddenly the whole thing looks cheaper. He grew through junior hockey, through Team Canada, through the heavy expectations that come with being a big right-shot defenseman who could skate, pass, defend, and most importantly, not panic. He won World Junior Gold with Canada in 2009. He was a monster in 2010's tournament and later won the Olympic gold medal in 2014. So no, this isn't some local cult hero who just got hot for 6 weeks. Pietrangelo had been tracking as serious hockey royalty for a very long time already. By 2016, the Blues made him the captain. That matters in St. Louis. This fan base doesn't just hand you an emotional ownership of the team because you wear the letter. You've got to absorb all the old ache. The first round exits, the talk of next year, the weird sense the Blues are always good enough to hurt you, but not quite good enough to heal. That's where Pietrangelo lived. Big minutes, hard matchups. Calm face. You don't build a cup run out of vibes. You build it out of players who can play 25 minutes when everybody else's brain is cooked. Now the game starts. The brain starts. Now the game starts, and Boston jumps St. Louis early. The Blues are flying. The Blues look like they're surviving on muscle memory and blocked shots. Boston outshoots them 12-4 in the first period. Not a typo, 12-4 in Game 7 on the road in that building. But hockey's a rude sport. You can be better for 16 minutes and still be down because one puck changes all the math. At 16:47 of the first, Jay Bouwmeester throws one towards the net. Ryan O'Reilly tips it. The Blues lead 1-0. O'Reilly scores in a 4th straight finals game. So he's becoming folklore in real time. Then comes the moment. 8 seconds left in the first period. Jaden Swartz finds Pietrangelo. The captain walks in, goes forehand, backhand, and lifts it over Rask. St. Louis leads 2-0. That goal's the episode. That's the whole thing in one clip. Alex Pietrangelo, the captain, scoring the Stanley Cup winning goal in Game 7 on the road. Not a garbage bounce, not a point shot off 3 shin pads. A move, a finish, a grown man fine. I'll do it. This is where it'd be easy to say this is the Ryan O'Reilly episode. He won the Conn Smythe. He was brilliant. He deserved every bit of it. But no, this is the Pietrangelo episode because sometimes the biggest moment doesn't belong to the loudest stat line. Sometimes it belongs to the guy who takes the franchise's entire history on his stick with 8 seconds left and acts like he's picking up groceries. The second period's Boston trying to claw the game back into reality. The Bruins keep pressing. Binnington keeps saying no. Joakim Nordstrom gets robbed. The garden keeps waiting for the roof to blow off, but it never quite happens. Every save makes the Bruins tighter, and every clear makes St. Louis a little taller. By the third, Boston is chasing a ghost. At 11:25, Vladimir Tarasenko feeds Braden Shen, and Shen rips it home, 3-0. Now it's not panic, it's math. And it's bad math for Boston. At 15:22, Zach Sanford makes it 4-0. And that one's a little rude. David Perron helps create it, and Sanford, a Massachusetts kid, scores in Boston in Game 7 of the final. The Blues' run was never normal. Matt Grelchik broke up the shutout late, but it didn't matter. Final score is Bruins 1, Blues 4. St. Louis won the Stanley Cup for the first time, and the postgame is exactly what it should be. Disbelief trying to turn into language. Binnington said, "It had to be this way, man," which sounds ridiculous and also completely correct. Braden Shen says it feels like a video game. Bruce Cassidy calls it an empty feeling. Tucker Rask says his first period was a nightmare. That's Game 7. Somebody gets mythology, and somebody else gets a room full of silence. Then there's Pietrangelo getting the cup. Gary Bettman hands it to him first, because that's the captain's job and the captain's reward. He lifts it, and decades of Blues fans exhale at once. Then he hands it to Jay Bouwmeester. That's perfect hockey etiquette and perfect Blues storytelling. The captain gets it first, the old warrior gets it next. Somewhere in all this, Gloria turns from a bar joke into a civic religion. It's such a dumb, perfect sports thing. A 1982 pop song becomes the soundtrack for a hockey team that was dead in January. Try explaining that. You can't. That's why it works. Sports are at their best when the magic is too stupid to fake. The rest of the season, there isn't any. That's the beauty of it. The Blues finished the season by ending the sport. Parade, banner, rings. Ryan O'Reilly adds to the Conn Smythe, to the legend. Then the Blues go from cursed expansion team to forever made men. Boston season ends 1 win short. And that's brutal for the Bruins because they were excellent. That team had championship bones. Bergeron, Marchand, David Pastrnak, Zdeno Chara, Rask. That's not a lucky finalist. That's a monster that ran into the one team weird enough to survive. Pietrangelo stays one more season in St. Louis, and the Blues are strong again in 2019-20. But the pandemic breaks the rhythm of the sport, of the world and the sport. After that season, the marriage ends. He signs with Vegas in 2020. That hurts. Captains aren't supposed to leave after bringing you the one thing that you waited a half century to touch. Sports don't care about neat endings. In Vegas, Pietrangelo doesn't become a nostalgia act. He becomes a core piece again. In 23, he wins another Stanley Cup with the Golden Knights. Now his resume is heavy. 2 cups, Olympic gold, All-Star appearances, and over 1,000 NHL games. The kind of defensive career that gets more impressive the longer you stare at it. But the story has a harder edge now. In 25, Pietrangelo stepped away from hockey because of a serious hip problem. Wasn't a clean retirement speech with a bow on it. It was his body saying, enough. That's the part athletes don't get to negotiate forever. The game takes what it takes. So Blue 9 isn't just Alex Pietrangelo scoring a goal. It's the captain of the St. Louis Blues finishing the sentence the franchise had been trying to say since 1967. Next up, we got Warrior 34, and we're going to June 19th, 2016. Draymond Green plays one of the weirdest legacy games ever. Incredible performance, terrible ending, and a Game 7 that feels like the internet, yelling in a burning room. But that's it for Blue 9, Alex Pietrangelo. June 12th, 2019. The captain didn't just lift the cup. He scored the goal that made it real. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending time with me. Maybe I'll see you next time. Bye.